At a certain point in my life, I came up with the idea to build a spacecraft. The pilots of this spacecraft will be children. First, a sketch and technical requirement. The spacecraft should be of such a size that the children's view, or rather children's, is not limited to a small screen. In general, it should be large enough. It should be voluminous, so that visually you fall into the space of your spacecraft and feel yourself inside it. It should have a huge panel with many control buttons. It would be interesting to tie those buttons with a controller, for example Arduino, and for future spacecraft captains to complete a task according to a pre-written algorithm, for example a starship takeoff or landing. Those tasks can be accompanied by the dispatcher's comment from the ground. In the center of spacecraft there will be a pad with education film recorded and broadcast to the young captain of the spacecraft. There should be a lot of different lights on the spacecraft, and so that this light can be turned on or off depending on what is happening. Well, let's see what we can do. The iPad of the first generation will act as a pad. It still works. I fixed it in an old case from my personal computer. By the way, in this project I will try to use all the old and unnecessary electronic equipment that I found in my garage. This tablet became the starting point of the construction of the spacecraft. Next, I screwed an aluminum profile to it. It's a perforated. It's good for me. Firstly, it has a futuristic look, and secondly, other elements of fuselage can be inserted into the holes. I thought about the material to make the body from a long time, or rather the skeleton. I was looking for a lightweight and durable material, such that it was already a semi-finished product. I took it, cut it off, screwed it on, and it's done. My work colleague Evgeny found a way out. He told me to use profiles to drywall sheets. The benefit of them in the hardware stone is a good variant. I decided to make the front part of the ship's cabin 14-inch horizontally and 27-inch vertically. I thought this size was the most suitable. I will make a table of the same size to place the controls. Plexiglass bought a width of 2 mm in the advertising against. The big problem lay in the cutting of plexiglass. The material is fragile, and it was impossible to cut it with a simple scissors on metal or with a jigsaw. There were constant shapes. As a result, the most optimal option for me was a self-made knife with a sharp edge similar to a fan. I ran it over the plexiglass, scratching out the cut line. The sharp impression on this array broke along the scratch line. As a result, I shift all the front and rear side of the ship's cabin with a plexiglass. In the future, I will stick a film with a picture of space on them and highlight them from behind, creating a representation of open space. I decided to make the lower panel of the cabin in the form of an on-board supercomputer. As a basis, I took motherboard left over from old computers. Separately, I would like to say about the Soviet electronic calculator. It seemed that its vacuum luminescent indicator would fit perfectly into the interior, so I decided to use it. I will place the lamp with the numbers in the low panel of the cabin, and I will install the buttons with a number in the table. To create volume in the interior of the ship, I used Soviet gas discharge lamps. Firstly, there are glass which will give additional reflection and the play of lights. Secondly, they have a futuristic look. Then I play to highlight them. That's all for now. Subscribe to my channel so as not to miss the next part of the spacecraft assembly.